What's up, everybody? Welcome in the slot. I'm Eric Ballner. We're going to break down what's going on in the land of the NHSL. We've got Jeremy Friederich from the Adelaide Extreme, the goaltender. Steve Best from the Port Brewers. Boys, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
What's happening? Big week this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can win the championship.
I hope so. I certainly hope that's what happens Friday. But yeah, it's been the same week as always. You know, you got to take it the same as any other week and kind of just make sure that you're focusing on the game.
You've been in an elimination game before already, Steve, so is it like similar to, are the stakes a little bit higher this week?
Yeah, definitely a little bit higher. You know, there's a bit of money on the line this time. But yeah, I feel like there's a little bit more pride as well with the team we have. So, you know, we don't want to lose. We're prepping for 2 more games.
How long have we been going at this? Because the draft was what, like October 10th or something like that? So we got November, December, January, February, March. We're in our 6th month. We've done this for 5 months for sure, for full now. Like, has that kind of dawned on you, like how long and how much hockey and training and effort has kind of gone into this?
I feel like it's been pretty smooth, to be honest. It's kind of like just a bit of a lifestyle change, I guess. Like, you know, every week you're rocking up and you're like, oh, I got a training this week and then game, or I've got a bye and might hang out with the boys on the bye week, and you know, it's just a good lifestyle, to be honest. Yeah. And
adjusting like those early morning trainings for the Brewers in particular.
Oh yeah, they have been rough, I'll be honest with that, but you do adapt to it. And especially when you're playing in a league and playing sport you love, it doesn't affect you as much as it.
You boys have like the late night ones, it feels like.
Yeah, our Wednesday ones have been pretty late, but we also have the Friday morning at like 5:45 or whatever that is optional, so at least it's not as bad on most people, but I tend to love the morning skate, so we've been making the most of that one too.
What do you prefer, morning or evening training?
The evening
late
ones.
Like, I mean the late ones.
Look, the late ones as well, like they're a lot more structured, you know, we get to focus on a lot more things, but personally I love like skating on game day. I think the morning one, like you get up, you go to the rink, you do your training, go home, have a nap, you know, do some uni during the day, but then you're just focusing on the game.
Late night or early morning?
Early morning.
Early
easy.
morning?
Yeah, kind of just preps you for the day as well. You know, you wake up, you go train, get the body moving, and then you're kind of set for the day. So.
Do you feel really good after them?
It depends on the training, I guess. You know, if it's a rough training, you go to work and you're a bit gassed, but you know, nothing a Powerade or a coffee can't fix.
I love it. Well, I'm sure you're in prep for Game 4 this week. Here's the recap of what happened in Game 3. After 2 games, went to overtime. Each team won a game 3-2. Guns a-blazing, the Extreme, and this guy had a pretty good one. Xander Wardlaw scored his first goal just, 17 seconds into the game, made it 1-0. Nathaniel Benson and Xander is kind of cute. They both shot the puck at like the exact same time and scored a goal, and Xander gets credit for it. 2-0, that was his second of 5 goals. Jeremy Friederich allows a goal with under 15 seconds to go in a period. This is a common theme from you, Jeremy. And the Extreme, though, you piled it on. That was a big start to that second period. Like, you guys were just swarming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been a big focus. You know, we did, at the start of the season, struggle to finish and start periods, and I think that this was a big key that, you know, we have to come out and we have to work. You know, if you get that lead, then you can kind of settle down a little bit. You never want to take your foot off the gas, but you know, you just got to keep going.
At this point, it was a 5-2 game, and then Tom Sack scores with 0.2 seconds left, thanks to the Hawkeye of Mitch Villani keeping to reset that clock every face-off. It felt like we had 7 face-offs in the last seconds, but on the power play, there's that Extreme power play goal that you see him score every single game. 5 goals for Xander Wardlaw, a 6-3 win. The shots were like 48-29. If it weren't for those 3 power play goals that the Brewers had, the game, to be honest, Steve, probably a little bit not as close as the scoreline suggested. But Jeremy, how do you see it from your perspective?
Yeah, I think the big one is that we won. You know, like that's playoff hockey. You can't really be thinking about anything else other than that. You know, we did dominate the possession, especially on 5-on-5. We're really happy with how the boys, you know, kept working, didn't stop going in the corners. Like they didn't stop playing their systems regardless of the score. Obviously, late in the period we let it go a little bit, but that's not really something that, like, that's an easy fix. I think mentally you just got to stay focused for a little bit longer. But yeah, we're really happy with the game.
How about you, Steve? How do you guys see it?
Yeah, obviously it wasn't our best game. Kind of sucked it was in the finals. We just got a lot to work on. I think you know, that first goal in the first 17 seconds or whatever it was kind of knocks you down a little bit. It's hard to come back from that, build the momentum, but it's not really it usually isn't a problem for the Brewers. You know, we've been getting down 7 goals in this season before and came back and won. So you know, we don't really have any quit in us. But unfortunately, we didn't have enough to bring it back.
It's been kind of a weird theme the last two games in particular, right? Because game 2, off the opening faceoff, Xander had that breakaway. And then in the second period, opening faceoff, Joey McDougall scores. And then, but even the last game, obviously, the first drop of the puck and somebody goes and scores. Right off the bat, like, was that getting a jump something that was like a message after you'd started slow with some periods, to be fair, in the end of the season? Was that like a message given to the extreme?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big part is just the excitement. You know, like the guys are so ready to go, like especially that first drop of the puck in the first period. We're so excited, and you know, obviously our top line's been doing well, so they're just buzzing, like they're playing well and they're just feeling themselves. So, you know, off the face-off, your guns are blazing. You want to get that lead as early as possible.
The Brewers do, you make a good point, like you guys always seem to make it interesting. Even when you've kind of played yourself in a bad situation, you always find these weird ways to make it a game. This Tom Sack buzzer beater was ridiculous. Can you walk me through what the conversations, the momentum, the set, like what is the set play down on something like this?
I don't think it's really a set play. With that amount of time left, all you're looking to do is just win it back and get a shot on, you know.
And that's what happened.
Exactly. You know, I'm not sure if he was going for the goal. I think he was. I think he was aware of how much time was left. Usually with that amount of time, you go for a low shot, go for a rebound, but I think he knew, you know, we wasted a couple of seconds in the corner there getting the puck to him, so he's just like, I'm just going to throw it on net. And yeah, obviously the guy's got a cannon. Like he should be doing that a bit more if he's scoring goals like that. But yeah, it's definitely a morale booster to go back into the room, and good timing. Good timing for it.
So you guys have scored 9 goals in the finals. Yeah. He's been on the ice for 8 of them and has a goal and 6 assists. Yeah. Like, what is Tom Sack drinking right now?
I don't know what it is, but I need some of it. I think our whole team does.
He's been huge though, hasn't he?
Absolutely has, yeah. He's been huge. Him on the back line, especially with Zach on one line, him on the other, has kind of made us a bit more solid defensively. Having 2 guys that can wheel the puck and shoot like at a very high level. It's been good.
Speaking of stepping up, the physicality in this series, I feel like has stepped up big time. One of the biggest hits that we've seen, at least on camera through our last few months, was David Huxley running into Ben Handberg. Take a look at this hit. This was huge. Shoulder to in there. How did, what was the reaction what was the bench reaction of both teams when this one was going down, and how did you boys both see this one? Because this was a train.
Yeah, I talked to Joey Rezek after, because after this play there was a penalty in the corner with Dean and Ben going.
Yeah, that's right at the other end.
Yeah. So I asked Joey. I was like, you know, was it because of the hit? Like, was there anything, you know, bad in that? And he said he was perfectly happy with it, like shoulder to chest, even shoulder to kind of the edge of the shoulder. It's just one of those that you kind of get caught with your head down a little bit. But I think the boys were pretty hyped up. But at the same time, I'm in the net, so I can't speak too much to it.
Yeah, we weren't too happy with it. I think a lot of the guys, you know, you see one of your teammates' heads go flying back and his helmet comes off. Your immediate reaction is that's a check to the head. We're all going off on the bench. Like, video does look like shoulder to chest. It does look like clean hit, but he's coming off, his mouth's bleeding. We just assumed it's a high hit. So we weren't happy with the original call, but you know, obviously video review shows it was pretty clean. But yeah, it's just.
I mean, you just stick it up for a teammate, right? Like.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But the hits are getting bigger, right? Are you guys just ready? Like, are you conscious of that as a skater, being like, oh man, like things are just gonna have a bit more impact, or is it just kind of roll with it and how it goes?
I feel like it's been pretty physical all season, but I feel the frequency has definitely stepped up. You know, the hits aren't harder; they're coming more often.
Do you think guys are getting caught, or maybe guys are out there looking to have that big hit that can kind of change the momentum of the game a little bit more?
Some guys definitely, yeah.
Some guys,
So, you know, especially when it comes to finals, you know, there are guys, you know, that probably aren't going to score many goals, and they don't offer as much, you know, in the way of offense or whatever. So they're just like, okay, I'm going to step up. I'm going to make these guys, you know, second guess whether they're going to get into the zone and all this kind of stuff with a big hit.
So what kind of words do you give to someone like a Ben Handberg that might be on the other end of that hit, but you need him to get back into that game really, really quickly? Like, you can't do anything stupid off of that, right?
Yeah, well, to be honest, he handled that very well. Most people, when they get a big hit, especially young kids like that, they kind of go back and they're, you know, a bit more worried to get a hit like that. But I feel like that actually helped his game a bit. He went out there, he was like a pit bull after that. I don't think he was chasing hits, but he wasn't scared of anything after that. So he played it well.
Xander Wardlaw, he had a good game?
Nah, not really. I've seen him play better.
5 goals and an assist. That was the most dominant, I guess, individual effort we've probably seen.
Yeah,
from a skater.
I've been advocating for it since before the draft, when we were planning the team, and I'd been in contact with him and he was keen to come over. Like, I knew who we were getting, and he's obviously been a big part of everything that we've done, but you come to expect that when finals start.
Here's some weird stats for you though, because I want you to talk a little bit about the BMW line and what's going on, because the Extreme have scored 30 goals in 2022. 28 of them have been scored by the top line or the power play. The other 2 have been scored by Dean Peterson. So what's going on with the BMW line? And where's the secondary scoring, Jeremy Friederich, or do you need it?
Well, and that's one of those things, I've had a couple conversations with Eric Lean about it, just talking about the team and everything, and he was very much on the same page as we all are. If we're winning games, there's nothing to worry about. Once teams start sorting out what's working for our line, once they start shutting that line down, you need guys to step up. But if this line's going out there and they're beating the line they're against, all you need your other lines to do is not get scored on. If they're winning their battle and these other lines aren't getting scored on, you win the game. So yeah, at this point we're happy. And
Benson, McDougall, and Wardlaw have played 6 games together because Nat obviously missed that one game. Mm-hmm. They've combined for 48 points in those 6 games. It seems like a lot.
Not really, huh? I think they could do better.
Well, how do you handle that line then? Like they like that line kind of overwhelmed you, with all due respect, the last game, because when the player scores 5 goals, it's kind of
absolutely, yeah.
take a box with that one.
Yeah, well, I feel like we handled them pretty well the first 2 games. Obviously the second game
held them to 2 goals.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I think we got a little bit complacent. We kind of just took the foot off our gas a little bit, and just. We didn't pick him up. Like you see most of his goals, he's alone in the slot, or he's just got a little bit of space to shoot. He's the type of guy, you put a bit of body on him. I'm not saying he doesn't have anything if you put the body on him, but he's not as effective. But you give him open space, he's going to score. So
I mean, like your line, that adjustment, because these 2 new top lines kind of formed in the new year. Like your line's been buzzing and putting up the points too. So is it almost like a matter when you're playing these top lines of like, look, you're not going to shut them down, but you just kind of want to contain them, because if you don't, that's what can happen?
Essentially, yeah. I think we know. There's probably, I think it was in the first or second game, I can't quite remember when it was. It's the start of the second period, and you watch both benches kind of like looking at each other, like one line goes to step out and then they go to step out, and we kind of go back. It was about 15 seconds where we're both like going back and forward because we're trying to line match and stuff, and then Joey just like ends up like, why don't you guys get on? Like, line matching is definitely a big part of this. And both teams are trying to do it.
And your line's been going pretty good on that top one. What's it been like playing with Nick and Tyler?
Yeah, it's unreal. Playing with Liam is just, it's so much fun. You give him the puck in the neutral zone and he can pretty much just skate through anyone. Yeah, I've seen the biggest guys on the Extreme try and hit him, and they might slow him down a little bit, but he's gone through. You're not stopping that guy. And then Nicole is just easy to play with, easy guy to play with.
So how does a change like that happen when you're going through a season? Like you started off obviously playing on the line with Tom and Ben, and then what kind of conversations happen? Like who drives that? Is it the player saying like, hey, maybe we try this, or is it the coach dictating what? Like how does that, walk me through it?
I think it's a bit of both. I think we realized that defensively, we probably need someone that can skate it out a bit faster. Our D aren't terrible, but they're kind of more stay-at-home defensemen.
Yeah.
So we figure that the MVP of the league, Zach Boyle, he's MVP. He's an offensive defenseman. Maybe let's try and throw someone back there like Tom Sack, who can skate it out, who's got good vision. See what that does for us, and it obviously worked out for us. And then obviously,
and it's a trickle effect because now
So then myself, Lima, and Nick had to went on a line, and then Hamburg's been playing with the Harley and Jaden when they've been down, and they've been working really well together. I think Hamburg kind of found a groove with those 2 as well. He's been playing a lot better. So yeah, I
kind of feel like how often did you guys play in the last couple Red Wings season of that line together?
Well, it was myself and Nick.
Yeah.
We were playing together, but we were actually playing with our coach. Yeah, with our coach Mitch. So, pretty similar style, Like Liam is kind of adaptive, and we adapt to him as well. So it's kind of we meet in the middle with that. We know each other's strengths and weaknesses pretty well because we've seen each other play through the season. So. And
obviously you play together on power play and stuff like that with the Red Wings, but how often out of a percentage of games through these years would you have been driving a line with Lima, or have you normally been separated like a 1-2-1-2 type thing?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I actually played with Lima in a Red Wing season. I think we had a couple games there where we did play, but we just figured like, hey, your line was working when I wasn't on there. Like, let's just go back to what we had.
Jeremy, how about you? How are you going so far? Like, how do you think you've adjusted from, the start, even at the start of 22 to where you are now? How do you evaluate your gameplay?
Oh, look, I think finals brings out a different beast than everyone. It's not great that subconsciously you need that to push you. You'd like to think that you're playing your best all the time, but I think you just find a different gear, especially when you got someone like Matus on the other end who's just constantly playing well. Like, you have to adapt, you have to play well, because otherwise that, certain mistake or two and all of a sudden your team's lost the game.
So are you and Matus kind of like elevating each other, do you think, in this?
I think there's a lot of different factors that are playing into how we're playing, but yeah, absolutely, you've got that natural competition, especially when you're good friends with someone. You don't want them to have the upper hand on you, so you want to do whatever you can to outbeat them.
Like, yeah, you don't want to be, you want to be better than the other guy, right?
Yeah, I think it's been good because he's obviously playing really well, and I'm really happy for him because he's been a hardworking kid for so long now, and it's good to see him thrive as well. So, but it pushes you to play better as well.
I feel like the defensive rotation of the Adelaide Extreme has been different like every single game over the last little bit. Has that been a bit of a challenge, knowing that you can't quite get the last couple games has been a lot better, obviously, but just that consistency of the same group for whatever circumstances?
Yeah, it's definitely played a part in some of the good things and struggles that we've had, because you're constantly adapting. We've got some really good experienced defensemen, like you look at some of the guys on our team and you're like, well, with these guys, they can adapt to anything. It's going to hurt not having Woodman this week, but I think at the end of the day, there's not much you can do. Like, we're constantly adapting, and if anything, it's going to be better for us because we've been ready to adapt for so long that we can just constantly keep moving with it.
I think you just perked Steve's ears up when you just said,
yeah, look,
it'd be nice not to have Woodman this week.
Yeah, well, he I think he went to Mitch Villani and said thanks for the season and stuff. So, for all we know, that's last we're seeing of him till the PHL, because I heard he's
that's a big signing,
which is pretty huge.
Yeah,
which is pretty exciting.
It'll be good to have him for the season.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see him.
On that theme of some kind of game changers there, like, what about can you guys hear the crowd? Like, there was that pocket of the brewery from that game. Like, they were loud.
Oh yeah, they're unreal guys as well. I think they call themselves like the Brewery Army. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Brewery, yeah.
They have an Instagram page and everything. They're unreal. They're good guys as well. Like, meeting them, chatting with them, they love the team, love the boys, love Matus. They made him a sign saying Matus the King. Yeah, they're loud, and I haven't had a crowd probably in this arena since, I don't know, probably since Adrenaline Games. But those guys are just a little pocket of themselves. They love it. I don't think any of them know anything about hockey either.
No, they just like cheering when like cool things happen and get in goals, and they like to chant the names of players.
Yeah.
They were yelling at Joey McDougall. They were doing like the "What do you think of Joey?" like chants. Like, it was.
Yeah.
Can he hear that? Can you guys hear like a little bit?
Absolutely.
Xander was like,
oh, hey, look, and this is the thing, right? It's going to elevate guys. In the huddle right before the game, I think, because they were during the warm up, they were already going, let's go Brewers and all that. So I think Joey, was like, let's shut these guys up. Let's win this game. Let's do what we can to keep them quiet. But I love it. I come from Europe, and that's a big culture there. When you watch sports, you got the ultra fans or whatever you want to call them that are there with their drums and stuff, like doing their big chant. And this is just great, like having the chanting and stuff.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Like, it just makes the atmosphere so much better.
Yeah, it makes it feel like an actual like barn style hockey game. It's cool how it's kind of built up, over the last from the start of the season to now, like even the education of the crowd of when to cheer, when to hit, like that's been kind of the fun part of it. Yeah, no, it's been good, and especially like these guys have no idea about hockey. I think from what I heard, was one of their friends came to a game and said, "Hey, this is sick. You guys should come out and watch." And from there, just built from there. So, the league's obviously been doing a good job promoting it, and the players have been playing well enough to draw a crowd as well. And it's sold out again coming up on Friday night's game. So, for anyone watching this, if you don't have a ticket, tough luck. Watch it. Watch me on TV and watch you guys do your things. Yeah. That'll be fun. All right, boys, I appreciate you breaking down a little bit what's going on. Couple other questions here. The Avalanche, both of you I saw, committed to playing for the Avalanche. When does that start to gear up, I guess, for you in terms of how that's going to go out of the NHSL season into the next part of it? Straight away, I think. Straight away, season ends and you're right into the PHL. Yeah. Well, teams have already started, getting together, and I think we've been really lucky with the NHSL to constantly be playing a high-level hockey, to be on the ice twice a week. It's prep. And your fitness on top of that too. Yeah. So it's been great. We've had so much
building up for this, but there's nothing that compares to training with the team, to starting getting the systems going and stuff, because you need some time to adapt. I think that's the big one. Is it's going to be key for us to get on the ice as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of rough though, coming straight off a season like we've had, especially off a 5-game series. It's like but it's definitely going to be fun. It's going to be kind of rough. The body won't have any time to recover, so you might have to have a chat to the coach. Might have to have a week off of training camp if we can. But
yeah,
do you think collectively, like the group is going to be as in shape for an AI or PHL season as they've ever been before in Adelaide?
Easily, yeah. I mean, because it's stepping up to 3 20-minute periods in PHL,
and we're fine.
And that's what we're playing already. We're on the ice twice a week as well. We're doing off ice. Where pretty much everyone should be in their peak. Especially for these finals, they should be in their peak physical conditions. So, we're going to come into training camp in that, and we're only going to improve from there. So.
You can worry about the systems and the structure, and you have your kind of game feet under you already. All right, boys, couple personal questions to end it up here. Thanks again for joining us. Your childhood idol, like when you were growing up, like do you have like a sporting idol that you were like, yes, this person was just like my jam?
I love Jonas Hiller.
Jonas Hiller?
He was a full-right
Swiss,
goalie from Switzerland, so that was a big one. Obviously, other than that, it was Roberto Luongo, because I'm a Canucks fan, and I used to love watching him play.
What about you, Steve?
When I first started watching hockey, I was a Colorado fan, so Joe Sakic was kind of the guy I looked up to, unreal shot, unreal player. Then Colorado fans might not like this, but I went to Datsuk. Datsuk was one of my fans, big-time Red Wing guy. But I think the main guy I liked watching growing up was Sidney Crosby, just a all-round genius of the game. So
3 of them. I asked for 1, I get 3.
Yeah.
It's just the hockey wizard. What about best sporting event that you've ever been to, that you would love to go to 1,000 times over?
That's a hard one. I was fortunate enough to play in the Quebec Pee Wee tournament.
Oh,
and
cool.
That was huge. Like you're playing in the Coliseum and schools come to watch and stuff. And we managed to our game was right before the Quebec AAA game, and it went to a shootout. So, by the end of our game, we had the barn was packed, and they were all cheering for Australia.
That's awesome.
Because we were the Australian team, and that was cool for them.
You guys can skate?
Yeah. I mean, we played Hong Kong, so it wasn't necessarily the most impressive thing in the world. But, we won, and that was huge. But I don't know. Other than that, I haven't really been to any big sporting events.
The biggest one I've been to, it's not ice hockey, it's actually inline hockey.
That's fine.
It was in Finland. It was a world championship.
Yeah, cool.
I got to play in a grand final there. Unfortunately, we lost in overtime to Croatia. Would have sent us up to the top division playing against Canada or America and all those guys, but unfortunately we lost. But after that, Finland and Canada played in the gold medal game. I think it was 6,500 fans there, just screaming against Canada for Finland. Probably one of the best inline games I've ever seen. It was insane. And I don't know why they had a street hockey tournament in the car park at the same time. So it was just people packed everywhere. It was I don't think I've ever been in a place that had that much atmosphere before. I've never been to an
That sounds like a
NHL
festival.
It was, I think it was. I think they set it up because it wasn't in Helsinki. It was in, I think it was Tampere, which is 2 hours out of Finland.
Yeah.
So, and that town is pretty much like a hockey town. There's two pro teams there. I forgot what they're called, but big hockey town, and just everyone there is all about hockey.
That's cool. Now I want to go to that. That just sounds like one of those weird sporting bucket list ones that you just have a unique experience for. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I like both of those. Boys, thank you very much for joining us. Game 4 will be next week, or this week, in a couple days from now. If the Brewers win, we go to a Game 5. Now, I've been kind of right with my predictions. At the very beginning of the series, I said each team, this would go 5, each team would win 1 in overtime, and each team would blow the other team out. Now, it's not a blowout win at 6-3 or 6-4 or whatever it was, but it kind of felt like the shots were, I'm going to count it as a blowout because compared to the 3-2 it was. So it's your time, Steve.
Yep.
You don't even need to do any work. You can just show up.
Yeah.
And it's an automatic win.
You're going to have to tell everyone about your predictions. Be like, all right, this is what Eric said, so let's just get the game over.
Yeah, let's just get ready for Game 5.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. You can watch that one on SBS On Demand because you ain't getting a ticket for it. So we'll see you online. And boys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, man.
Cheers. Thanks, Eric.
We'll see you on Friday.